any of you are new, we'll give you a mic. For questions, please use the mic. With that, it's game week. Go ahead and open up with Harsin. Troy, week 1.
All right, well, first I'll start with the captains. You guys saw that. We had 3 captains chosen by their peers. Brett Rippon, which will be his 3rd time as a captain. Jabril Frazier and Tyler Horton. Those 3 will be our permanent captains. We'll also have 1 that we select honorary captain each and every week. So excited for those 3. I think over the course of their career, certainly Brett being a captain 2 times prior, has earned that. I think he's led and will continue to do that very well. Jabril, his story to where he is right now, coming in here, his freshman year, kind of that academic red shirt, to being one of the best players on our team, but more importantly, maybe one of the best leaders on our team and hardest workers, overcoming injuries. Tyler Horton, throughout his career, playing for us, coming in, playing as a true freshman, and being in the position that he's in right now to help us lead on the defensive side and our entire football team. So proud of those 3 guys, excited for them, and certainly looking forward to how they help us as we get started this next week. As far as Troy, we're really into that now. 11-2, we talked about it. Neil Brown done a great job there. Defensively, 5 returning all-conference players. They were 24th in the nation in total defense. Number 47, Hunter Reese. I think that guy's a very good player. They're moving him around. He looks good from last year. I'm sure that he's developed. We'll get a chance to see him firsthand here in a week. But he's done a really good job, and they use him very well. Number 24, who now is number 5, Cedarius Rookard. I don't know if I said that right, but Cedarius, guy's good at safety, does some good things there, moves around well. And I think helps those guys in the run game when he comes down and plays in the box. Some other guys, number 8, number 2, both those guys stand out, and we see that on film. They got a new stadium renovation, so we'll get a chance to see that. People have asked me when I was at Arkansas State if I played at Troy. We didn't, so I've never been in that stadium before. Offensively, I think the big news today, Caleb Barker was named the starting quarterback, and now they've done that. I'm sure the other guy will play as well, and it's probably been a battle, and we know how that goes sometimes, and they made a decision a week before we play to go ahead and go with number 7, Caleb, and we got to prepare for him. Must feel like he's won the job, obviously, and did a great job doing that. Those battles are never easy. They got a couple guys at receiver, number 80, DeAndre Douglas. That guy's got 48 receptions, really good player. Number 15, Damian Willis, another guy that we think that is a really good player for him. And then the O-line's probably one of their strengths. Not probably, is, I think, a strength of their offense. 4 returning starters, their center, very good player. And then on special teams, number 8, he can go, good returner. And you never know on teams at this point, what's going to happen, what we're going to see. We just got to be prepared to do what we do and go out there and try to play hard. So major challenge for us this week. We got to travel and go on the road, play in a packed house, play against a very good football team, and it starts with our preparation, how we attack this week, what's our Tuesday practice look like, what does Wednesday look like, are we focused throughout the week, and then we just got to go play. We practice well, we go out there and hopefully play well, and as the challenges come up in the game, see how we adjust to them, how we adapt, and hopefully we do a good job in those areas. So with that, open up for questions.
You mentioned Jabril Frazier. Just with, we've talked to him before about that first year where he couldn't even be around the team in meetings or workouts and literally had to be, I think you said Brandon Pringle was his best friend because he couldn't be around anybody else. Just for him to kind of have that and be able to, as you said, the injuries and all that, and you kind of mentioned his story, I guess just if you could elaborate on that and what he's gone through to, and how proud you are, I guess, that he's reached this point to be one of your leaders on defense.
Yeah, well, I think it's a story of hard work. I really do, if you want to simplify it. I think, to overcome the adversity of sitting there and having to watch practice that entire first season, to go out there and prepare yourself to play, and to come into spring ball and get on the field, to be injured and have, we planned on having the surgeries actually spaced out shoulder, ankle, knee, all that. It wasn't all going to happen at once, and then he was like, do it all at once. And so he did, and he recovered from that, obviously, but that was something that I think showed extreme toughness, and probably more mental toughness than anything. When you have surgery, it's physically going to be something you have to grind through, but to have all 3 injuries and to mentally handle that, I think Jabril's in a good place. I think he understands what it takes to be successful. I think he understands that no matter how high he reaches right now and what level he's at, he's still got to get better, and that can be taken away too. So there's an appreciation for his opportunities. So no question, when he was chosen as a leader and I got a chance to see the numbers and the players picked, I wasn't surprised but very proud that he has this opportunity. And I think he's a guy a lot like how I thought Leighton took it last year. Leighton took that and led our football team at times, not just in games, but practices, weight room, things like that. I think Jabril, they've got to be themselves, but I think Jabril has that understanding of what it takes because he's had to work so hard to get to where he's at. So all 3 of those guys, very appreciative, the right mindset to go out there and help us lead this team, and I'm excited for all of them.
So that the captaincy is voted by the teammates, or is that something from the staff?
No, it's voted by the team.
Okay.
Yeah, voted by the team. We did it. We went and saw a movie Friday night, and we did it right before the movie. And guys, you give them 3 lines and pick their captains, and they voted on it. And me and one other unnamed person in this building got a chance to count them out, and we made the decision, and it was pretty simple. They made the decision. We just announced it on Sunday.
I was going to ask you. We were out there, Saturday, and we saw that Octavius Evans was wearing number 1, and I don't, that seems like it's something that's special here. The guys who have worn number 1 have been guys that you really trusted to make a big impact. Was that something that you suggested? Did he talk about it? How did that kind of come together?
Yeah, well, he didn't know he was getting 1 until that day, and it's actually something we talked about. I know it's something that he wanted, but not many guys are going to ask for that number. I think. And the one thing about Octavius, which is probably why, even with Cedric too, those guys that have worn it, they're not right in your office banging down the door and just asking for that number. It's something that I think they kind of know that they want to be in it. I think they know that we know they want to be in it, and it's one of those, like, if you think I'm deserving of it, then go ahead and make that decision. And so Octavius, one of our hardest workers, a guy that's done everything we've asked him to do. He is a very good football player. He's done things outside of football that have been the right things to do. So that was a little bit of surprise for him, but something he's earned since he's been here. And I thought when he was in, he looked good. So that was part of why we put him in number 1. He'll represent it the right way, and he'll own it too. And he has a lot of respect for what that number means.
Quick follow-up on that. I saw you talking to him during warm-ups the other day, and you had a big old smile on your face. I'm wondering if that's what you guys were talking about. And then the second thing is going back to Brett and being voted a captain 3 years in a row. He said that's the thing he's the most proud of in his time at Boise State. What has he done leadership-wise and personality-wise to he was 19 when he got voted captain the first time, to be able to carry that role for so long?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right. That's exactly what Octavius and I were talking about. Because we put it in his locker, he didn't say anything to me, and we were kind of eyeing each other a little bit. So I just walked up to him and said, "What do you think?" And he talked about it and he said, "Thank you." And he's so appreciative. That's the thing about Octavius. He's so appreciative. Everything he's ever gotten since he's been with us, he's so appreciative of it. And that's where you just walk away from those conversations and you got the right person, and not just about the number. But that's what the conversation was, so we had a little fun with that. As far as Brett goes, playing that position, the quarterback position, I think sometimes, like he was, you're thrusted into a leadership role because you are the quarterback, and that doesn't necessarily make you a leader that way. But what he's done, I think he's accepted his role, he's owned it, and not so much just in games and practice, but the workouts, the summer workouts, organizing those things, ideas for the team, you know, how can we get better, things that he can bring to me or the coaches that are things that our team feels like maybe, you know, something we might be missing. You know, that's what leaders do. They bring it to your attention. And he's had those qualities ever since he got here. He's never shied away from it. He's never felt like it's too much. We've leaned on him, and he's always accepted that. And, you know, whatever it was, good or bad, you know, I think that's what good leaders do. And I think he accepts praise from us, but he never does it really publicly and kind of passes that along, which he knows the guys around him make things go. He has his role, and I think guys respect that. I think they see it. They see it not just on the field. And then I think this year in particular, those years of leading, those years of developing, those years of him focusing on his craft and the mental side of the game, you know, he's been great this whole year. He's been focused at every practice. He's not had a day where he's not gone out there. We haven't had perfect days. He's had bad days too, but he's gone out there and he's worked and he's overcome it, and he's been intentional in his drill and his prep and, you know, getting himself ready to practice each and every day. So right now, his maturity, his experience, all those things are showing up, and, you know, I think he's primed to go out there and lead. What does that mean as far as his play? I don't know that yet, but as far as leading and identifying what needs to be said or echoing what's already been said, he's been doing that. So I'm not sure I don't know if we've ever had a three-time
I was
captain.
going to go try to figure that out.
Yeah, you know,
I don't think
Pitt,
Kellen was a sophomore year, was he?
I don't know if he was or
Figure
not,
that
Chad.
out.
You know, Pitt was asking me that yesterday. Have we had a three-time captain? And honestly, I screwed it up yesterday too. I mean, I thought it was two-time to begin with, and then Brett made sure, like, you know, this is my third time, right? And I was like, yeah, you know, it's just like one of those things that kind of goes by fast. But Pitt and I were talking about it. Have we had a three-time captain? I don't know if we have. So what does that say? That says a lot for, you know, what players think of Brett over the years, and, you know, what he's been able to do as a leader of this team.
Two questions on Troy. First one on their defense. Their defense was very good last year.
Yeah.
Quite a few people back, quite a few backups now moving into starter. What's the most challenging thing about facing them? And then offensively, the quarterback and the running back are gone. How much does that change the personality? Because everybody else on offense seems to be back.
Yeah, well, as far as their defense, you start to watch, you know, we played them the first game, and then you watch them throughout the year. They get better, and you see them playing faster, like every team does. When they start to play faster, right? They tackle better. They're more confident in what they're doing. They played against LSU. They're playing fast. They're playing physical. And so, you know, another year of experience with a lot of those guys, another off season, another fall camp, another spring ball, another summer. They're better. You know, now our football team is better too, but that's what you anticipate. You're going to see an experienced player that you got to face last year, that you watched all the games this last season, that person playing. You know they improved, and so you're going to anticipate they're going to be even better than what you see, and that's our mindset. You know, so they're well coached in what they do. I think they play well with each other, and so I think that's the challenge right there. Is you got an experienced group that's going to be better than what they were, and, you know, hopefully we are as well when we go out there and play. On the offensive side, yeah, you know, I think Caleb, you know, he changes the game from what they had. You know, he's a good football player. He can run. He's got the ability to do that. He can throw. And I mean, he can throw well. You know, so I don't want to diminish that. Just because a guy can run, I think he's a runner. No, this guy's a quarterback. Yeah, he can run, and he can do all the other things too. He can beat you deep. He can, you know, go in there and play the position and run a 2-minute drill. And, you know, so defensively, you better be ready for that. That guy you want to cover, and that guy pulls it down, you got to be ready to go out there and pursue him and get him down. You know, now quarterbacks run too. You got your opportunities to tackle and do those type of things. So I don't really know a whole lot about Caleb. I don't know enough. Now that he's been named, we'll obviously study him a little bit more. I know this. I know if he won the battle, he's pretty good. And to go through that all the way through spring and whatever amount of time they spent before they actually told him, you know, he's going to be is going to be a challenge for sure.
Every year I found not to put too much stock in the depth chart, but I did see Riley Wimpy as number one at that weak side spot. Also didn't see Blake Whitlock at all, but what is it about Riley that's kind of impressed you? And I didn't see Blake anywhere on the depth chart. I wasn't sure if that was something to look into or not.
Yeah, no, I think, even some of those freshmen too. I mean, we got to figure out this week. We still have a week of preparation and really a game week. And here's the interesting thing about depth charts and talking about freshmen and things like that. Wait till we get into game week. It's all good when FanFest is coming up and you've mocked the week before and all those things like that. Now you got a game coming up. How do they really prepare? How are they going to be out there in practice? Because those redo reps, they don't happen. Those reps, they get out of there. We get somebody else in there if there's too many mistakes. So as far as Riley, I think Riley has come on throughout camp. I thought a little bit early on, I wouldn't say a slow start, but kind of getting back into it a little bit. But I thought after that first scrimmage, he really turned it on. Coach Avalos, the linebackers, they all did a good job. That group is tight. They're well coached, and he just started playing faster. That's the thing about Riley. Riley plays fast, and when he plays fast, he's dangerous out there on the field. I think he's just been doing that more, so you see him in that position, and he's put on weight. He's bigger, so his nutrition plan, he's eating better, so he's stronger, and I think he's just really kind of things clicked for him last probably 12 or 13 days, and I think he's playing well.
One of the under-the-radar rule changes this year is pants below the knees. And in the past, you've had a lot of Bermuda shorts out there. Has that caused any issues?
Yeah.
With any players who are comfortable?
Yeah, it has.
Bermuda shorts?
The whole jersey thing, and I get it. Some games, and not so much our team, and sometimes our team, I watch where the shirts are hanging out and guys, had the long shirts. And, sometimes when you play, you want to be comfortable. Everybody's got a different style. Now they changed that, all right? So no shirts hanging out. The whole knee situation, they're going to have to relax on that a little bit because, one, we just bought new uniforms when the rule wasn't in place, all right? So we just brought a whole set of unis, and, we don't have just that extra cash laying around to go buy a whole nother set just because they changed the rule. So the pants weren't designed to go below the knee. Our guys are fighting it, and I think we're close. I think they're trying. I think as long as you're not obnoxious with pulling them up, and the one player from Pitt that cut his knees completely off and just wore the thighs, I think that was a big part of the rule there. I don't know who the player was, but that's obviously not going to happen. But a guy like Quinn Skillen, Quinn's sagging his pants just to cover his knee. So, where the crotch area should be, it's down there about mid-thigh, just so he can cover his knees. And then he's like, Coach, what do you want? I can't even punt like this. So we're going to have to figure something out. Maybe our pants will have a little insert there, and we just build a strip in it. I don't know. But they're trying. And I thought in the scrimmage, I thought the referees that did the scrimmage did a good job. They pointed some guys out that said, hey, that would be an issue. And, we're working on it. I think we're close. I do. I think we're close. I pulled out pictures of Wyoming, Hawaii, New Mexico State, Colorado State. So I pulled out pictures of those guys playing and looked at their uniforms, showed them to our team. They were clean. Jerseys were tucked in. Nothing was hanging out. The knees were close. I think they were close enough. Nobody had their knee pads clear up to their thighs. So I think that's what they're trying to get done with the rule. And I think after the first week, like anything else, one thing that stood out the 42nd after the kickoff return, that's one we got to pay attention to. That's going to happen fast. And you don't want to be the team that runs out there and has to delay a game on the first play or have to call a timeout because you can't get your play off. I'm not sure. I'm curious about the knee deal. I know this. I know our team's not going to try to go out there and be obnoxious about it, but you play and they roll up and they're going no huddle and you're lined up again and that knee's folded clear up there, and what are they going to do? I don't know. And hopefully they're not pulling a guy out in a critical moment because his knee is 2 inches too high and you're getting one of your best players off the field. I think the referees do a good job of making a point of emphasis early on, and then they use a little common sense as the season goes on. So I hope that's the case, at least for our team.
Just a quick follow-up to that. Is that really the penalty? Like, you lose a player if like his knee pad's too high for?
They'll take him out. Yeah, they'll take him out of there. You gotta have it fixed so you can come out.
Like losing the helmet, it's kind of a similar to
Yeah,
that,
it's
right?
like you got to go. I mean, like, fix it now. I mean, I think how it's really going to go. And if you don't, they'll just tell you to leave. They're not going to sit there and argue with you. That's the whole thing. If the guy says, "Hey, pull your knee pads down," pull them down. All right. And they may stretch. Pull them down. At least try. If you sit there and you don't want to do it, go. Then we'll just get the next guy in there. Is the way I understand it. So. I hope it's not. I hope it doesn't get to that. And I think from what I saw between those teams playing, they all managed it pretty well. I don't think there was a guy that got taken out or had an issue with that.
Funny thing to have to worry about. You know, I know that a lot's been made of the weather and what you guys are going to face down there, but you know, we're joking around about, you know, with Tyler Horton the other day, and he's saying that he's eating mustard or bananas, and he'd even put mustard on a banana if he had to stay hydrated. Is it fun to add a new wrinkle?
That must be his deal.
Yeah. Awful.
I don't know about that. We're not, just so everybody knows, we're not asking our guys or making our guys do that. All right? We give them Powerades, water, and, I mean, just tell them to hydrate.
Yeah, I guess it's cool to know the guys, I mean, are willing to go to that extent. And then is it at all fun to add a new wrinkle like that, to try to prep for something new, something different that might not be totally X's and O's, but, you know, prep these guys for something different?
Sure. Yeah, you have to. You know, in the South, too, you got to be ready for some weather as well. That was one thing. You know, when we were at Arkansas State, we'd be out of practice, and there'd be and I know there's been some of that weather there in Troy, too. You have a lightning storm. You got to go. Get off the field. You know, that's not something that we really deal with here. The hydration part of things, absolutely. You know, we started that. Our guys understand it. I mean, the one thing you don't want to do is go out there and, you know, if it's 90 degrees and 70% humidity and you're not ready, you got to be IVing guys at halftime. That's not what we want to be doing. So I think our guys have done a good job. I think we have a good plan as far as hydration. The little things like the pickle juice and the mustard on the bananas, I've never heard of that one, but I know the pickle juice one. If they think that works and that helps them, by all means. Our guys do. I'll say this about our Hillary Horton Brown has been our nutritionist, and she does a really good job. So our guys are into it, so they'll research a little bit, maybe some weird things like that, but they'll try to find ways to help themselves. But I think our trainers, we do a pretty good job of making sure our guys have got everything they need in their bodies to stay hydrated, and not trying to go overboard a little bit. But you know, I'll go back to, we play in altitude, we play in humidity, we play in snow. I mean, whatever it is, you can do anything for 4 hours. I really believe that. It's real, and there's cramps and things like that. You can do anything for 4 hours. So prepare your body the right way, and you know, you should be able to go out there and do it. And I think a couple years back, when we had to play in that type of weather, I thought we were pretty good. Had a couple guys cramp up, but for the most part, we were on point with what we thought might happen and how our guys would react.
You know, for 8 months, we've been talking about expectations and, you know, previewing what the biggest game's going to be and running the table and all that kind of stuff you guys have had to kind of deal with. How you know, with spring practice, summer workouts, fall camp, everything kind of done, how excited are you just to go play a game and see what you have?
Yeah, I want to see, you know, all those things. You know, I said it in the article that you wrote, you know, with our players and what you did on the team and all that, which was well done. But we talked about expectations, and we can't control that. I mean, the reality of it is I want to see our team play. I want to see how we go out there, and we're going to play a really good football team. I want to see how our guys operate. I want to see how we break tackles, block people, how we tackle people, how we play on special teams, like all the things that we've been working so hard on. What's it really going to look like against an opponent, and a really good opponent? You know, I want to win. You know, our guys want to win. We all want to win. Every team in America wants to win. So that is the ultimate goal of the game. But the focus, the questions, you know, everybody on our team has been questioned kind of that direction. And my point to them is, if your attention's on that, then we have a problem. We have Tuesday practice, which this is the second Tuesday practice that we'll have. We mocked it last week. Tuesday practices matter, Wednesdays matter, and so on and so forth. And I've said it before, if we don't operate like that, we are not a good football team. And that's just my experience in being the head coach and being around teams that don't do that, they're not very good when it's come game time. So I'm more curious to see how our team, if we really believe in our process and how we do it, or we're just trying to jump into the game and trying to get that W as fast as we can so we can celebrate and talk about, you know, all the good things that can happen. I don't think we have that team. I think our team is about the competition. I do. But I don't know that yet until we actually go out there and get ourselves into this week and go play. If our team's truly about the competition and our process, feel good about it, regardless of what happens. Feel good about it and think we'll have, you know, we're on the right track this season. If we're on the hype train all the time and we got to get social media feelers to feel good about ourselves and all that, and we're just looking at that all day, and we come right in after practice and find out if anybody said anything about us, then, you know, watch out, you're going to get punched in the face. And then what are you going to do? You don't have a response because you haven't been thinking about it. So that's how I really feel. I do. I think, you know, we've been down this road, the ups and downs. We've dealt with that, and the best way for us to deal with it is get ourselves ready to go practice and then play our ass off, and we go play against Troy.
Last year's special teams was a good example of something you guys weren't happy with the year before, spent a ton of time, and it paid off. Are there a couple things that the last 8 months that you guys have really focused on trying to get better at, and how has that process gone?
Yeah, well, we have. We tried to look at our personnel. That's one thing, as coaches. So as coaches, look at our personnel. Who are the best people to go play? We do want to play our best players. We do need to utilize them out there, and you know, we can't have a guy that's starting on every special teams. You know, that's not going to work. So how do we maximize the guys on our team and get them prepared for their role in special teams? How do we play with great effort when we go out there and we practice on special teams? To me, that's a mindset. I thought last year we showed our team the importance of how, when we go out there and play those 30 special teams plays, how much of a difference that can make in the game. And those guys understanding that and buying into it. So the mindset had to continue. I thought that was a key to our success last season. And, you know, getting better at what we do. You know, just our techniques. You know, Coach Riddle's done a good job, and Spencer Danielson, those guys have worked together. We have some new schemes, we have some new ideas and things that we're going to utilize, but it's still going to come down to, you know, how we play with our technique and the consistency with that. I thought our guys over the summer, they worked on it a little bit. It showed up. I think we were further along in fall camp than we've been when it got to special teams. And I think we got guys in this room, starters, that understand the importance of it. You know, when you had said and late, you know, guys that started for us last year that were good players that were on those teams, you could see the difference they made and you know, what happened in games. So to me, that's a philosophy in our program. It starts there, guys buying into that, and then how we practice it. You know, I don't want to get into how we practice it, but I would say this. I think Coach Riddle has done a phenomenal job of hitting what we've needed to hit on with our special teams to have them prepared and ready to go play.
Thanks, Russ.
Is that it?
Hey, Harsin, I have one quick question.